really, really well for the conference season, which is really just now around the corner. Oh, baseball has made a couple of guys very, very rich, too. That's on the docket. We're busy today. Our friend Steve Earhart's going to join us in about 9 to 10 minutes or so, and he will fill us in on Kansas and Arkansas and the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, which, of course, takes place on the 28th of December. More college football and a whole bunch with our friend Brett Norsworthy. Stats will join us, as usual, at 10:25. We'll get his sense on the Texas Bowl, which is taking place the same day as the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, the day after Memphis plays in Dallas. The Rebs will play in Houston at Energy Stadium. I have some fond memories of Energy Stadium. That is maybe the greatest weekend in the history of Memphis basketball, as far as I'm concerned. Because that weekend they went to Energy Stadium to take on Big Ten champion Michigan State and absolutely ran them out of the gym. Then they took on Texas the next day. Texas at home, basically. Energy Stadium full of orange-clad Longhorn fans, and they ran them out of the gym. The Michigan State one, they were like up 36-6 in that game. That was absolutely incredible. All in Energy Stadium, so that will be a lot of fun to watch, to talk with Stats about. And then Jarvis Greer, as always, will join us. I had a call him this morning. Did you see that they have renamed a section? I think it's around Parkway. I'll have to ask for sure. They have renamed that street Jarvis Greer Street.
How about that?
I said, you're not going to miss the show today because of the. He goes, Dave, I would never big time you. So we will hear from Jarvis Greer on the Tigers and on the First Responder Bowl and all that other stuff that comes your way. I mentioned the baseball because I thought that was very interesting last night. Trey Turner gets an 11-year, $300 million deal from Philly. The Phillies are serious. Yeah, they got to the World Series, didn't quite work out. They're serious. They've signed Turner. They signed another guy. I mean, they're adding to Bryce Harper. That is going to be a really good team.
I saw it reported also, I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I did see it reported that the Padres actually offered him more money, and he turned it down to go play for the Phillies.
That's fantastic.
It's crazy.
You know, the same thing happened with Verlander. He could have taken the Yankees. They actually offered him more money. He went with the Mets, and his wife, Kate Upton, you know who she is, right?
That's right.
She said, we actually got more money offered by the Yankees, but we want to go to a place where the fans appreciate the players, don't get down on them. What a slap.
It's the same city, too, though. I'm not sure that's true about that thing.
But how about Trey Turner? I mean, he's 29 years old, right? Young guy, in his prime for sure. But when this thing comes to an end, he's 40 years old. $300 million for 11 years. But the Yankees then had to re-sign Aaron Judge because there was a lot of public opinion that were suddenly not very pleased with the New York Yankees. So they signed Aaron Judge, 9 years, $360 million. It's not the biggest. Biggest, I think, was it Harper or Trout that got $425? What are those two guys?
I think it was Harper, but I'll look it up.
$425 million. $360 though for Judge.
You're right. It was
9
Trout.
years.
$426.
$426. So this $360 is $40 million a year. I think he's going to be pretty good when it's over in 9 years.
Certainly, if anyone's athleticism could keep up, it would be his. He's so fast, and I mean, he hasn't lost a step in the field.
How old is Aaron Judge? Because he may have another, not quite as big, be like a Verlander deal.
He's 30 years old.
He's 30?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, 39.
But he's still, I mean, he's a great athlete, in good shape. It's not like he's like a big guy. I mean, if anyone's body could keep up, I would imagine it's his.
How about Verlander, though, going with the Mets after they lose DeGrom? But Verlander gets $43.33 million a year for the next 2 years. It's an $86.6 million deal. The guy won the Cy Young Award this year. But what is he, 37?
39.
He's 39, so when this is over, he's 41.
That's right.
But how about that back end? Back end of a career, you're making $43.33 million for 2 years?
That's what happens when you win a Cy Young. It's crazy, honestly. We talk about Tom Brady and marvel at him and even LeBron James, but Justin Verlander's another example. I think you can go across sports and just see guys playing way later into their lives. Their careers going way later.
It's because they stay in shape year-round now.
That's right.
They don't mess around. They watch nutrition. Science has helped. It's good to watch. But, you think a guy at 39 and 40 going to make $43 million each year, that's a heck of a way to go out.
And didn't take the largest offer he had.
No, he could have gotten more. That is. I guess when you've got that kind of money, I mean, come on, you're already stakes for several generations. He doesn't even need this $86 million. Just a bonus, you could say, at the end of his career. All right, NFL news, because we're about to do what my friend here painstakingly does every week, the inane thing that coaches and players say after football games. Baker Mayfield was claimed off waivers by the Rams, the only team that went after him. Here's how I think kryptonite Baker Mayfield is. The San Francisco 49ers, maybe because they found out that there's a chance Jimmy G will be back for the playoffs. But they got a guy who was Mr. Irrelevant, the last player taken in the draft, right? He's their starting quarterback now, and they didn't even go after Baker Mayfield. They could have claimed him.
I think they thought that he was going to clear waivers and then they could renegotiate with him, and the Rams spited him a little bit, got in there early.
I don't know. You think that's it?
Maybe.
The Cowboys have some doubts about OBJ, but it's because his knee didn't work out so well. Coming back from the ACL, and they didn't think it was that fit. There's another guy. If I were the Cowboys the way I'm playing right now, I would not mess with that chemistry. I would not bring in another guy like him because he's trouble.
I heard that as well. When people started saying he wanted a multi-year deal, I saw a lot of former players on ESPN saying that means he's hurt. He's not working out. Because last year he only wanted that 1-year deal and just won a Super Bowl. He wanted a multi-year deal. Something was up there.
In the meantime, Week 13 is now put to bed. We really officially do that. We start putting it to bed on Tuesdays with Jeff Moore. We put it to bed with the NFL's coaches and players talking, and usually it's inane.
He was ill last night, and that's why we had to put him down, just so everybody knows that.
Not to get into, what do you call it, coach speak.
But I thought our guys collectively did not blink. They made the necessary plays down the stretch to secure victory.
Our guys kept battling. They stuck together. We talk about you don't flinch, and they didn't.
And not a lot of details because everything was fast and furious at the time.
I wasn't looking. I closed my eyes when he did.
Colby Calais did a national anthem back in 2010 with like a guy on a ukulele. Like, that's a cool moment.
It's the message that's going to be if we win, lose, or draw.
We've always just tried to be consistent with our approach, win, lose, or draw.
What does a tie do for your playoff chances?
Better than if it was a loss. Not as good if it was a win.
It's just good to get contributions from all three phases in the weighty moments to secure victory.
You want to make sure that, it's 100% focus and it's a faceless opponent, and we did that.
I do think sometimes, you can crack it and all of a sudden it starts to flow a little bit, on the damn brakes.
I'm going to give it everything I got every week, no matter what, so I'll go until the wheels fall off.
You don't have time to sit and sulk. We have time to just get better.
Listen, we've got to lick our wounds,
We're going to have some ups and downs in the season, and when you have a down, can you pick yourself back up off the ground and rip it?
But I'm just saying you got to let that thing rip. He's got to let it rip.
It's really hard. It's hard to run, boom, and rip it out of there.
It came out of nowhere like a lightning bolt.
They absolutely fought their tails off. This team doesn't quit. There's no moral victories or anything like that.
No, you're not going away with the moral victories, but I think we can all see the steps that this group's taken.
There's no moral victories. We got to get over this hump.
By no means are we trying to make this a moral victory because moral victories don't count in the NFL.
We didn't win a division championship today. We didn't win a conference. We just won a game in early December. December football, you got to find a way to win the game.
It's December football, any which way you can get these things.
Football season after Thanksgiving.
Consistency is the truest measurement of performance, Sarah.
No, like I told them, there's no Band-Aid to fix this. We got to get in soul search.
I believe he said something along the lines of, tough times don't last, tough people do. He probably said it a heck of a lot cleaner than I just did.
You keep slugging, you keep swinging. I've heard it said before, calm seas don't make good sailors.
They just got me good in the ribs. Just kind of part of these big guys when they hit you. It tends to hurt sometimes.
That last one, that was Mike White, the New York Jets quarterback. Matt Eberflus was talking. He was the first guy, by the way, who said they put him down. That he was talking about Justin Fields. I'm assuming, J-Mo, not being able to play in the game. But the biggest question I have for you is that Aaron Rodgers was talking about the national anthem with a guy like on a ukulele. He says that was a cool moment. Was he like asked what are the best moments he's had in his career?
Best moments in Soldier Field, and he went.
Gosh!
He went to that, and he went to the baritone national anthem as well with the guy with the deep voice. There were his two favorite.
That
moments.
guy used to always do the anthem
That's
in
what
Chicago.
He said.
He was a fireman.
That's exactly what he said.
Well, he's so arrogant. I am so over him. I mean, really and truly, that's just awful. But you know what? He can do it because all he's done is kick the Bears' rear ends. He's like, what is his record against the Bears now? Like 26-2 or something?
Yeah, I think he said it was 9 in a row, maybe in Soldier Field, something like that. I'll look up his overall record.
He owns the Bears. I mean, honestly, the Bears, that's the longest running in history of any NFL rivalry.
25-5 against the Bears.
25-5. So that's plus 20. The Bears going into that thing, into his era, that includes like Favre and everything else. They were up in the series big. Now Green Bay owns it by 2 or 3 games, all because of this guy. Man, and he's clever and he finds ways to rub it in every single time. Not rubbing anything in with my friend Steve Earhart, the Big Cheese, the head honcho of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Congratulations, Steve. I don't know if he told me this many people, but I know for a fact you wanted Arkansas in the worst way. You got Arkansas. You got a bowl-hungry Kansas. You couldn't have had a much better game. Congrats.
Well, thank you, and it's looking like a really going to be a wonderful few days here in Memphis with one of the biggest crowds to come in here, and I hope you can hear me all right. I'm on my way down to meet. Kansas has got 9 people here in town doing all the planning for the parades and their activities with all the Kansas fans, and you said it right. They have not been to a bowl game in 15 years, so there's going to be a lot of people here coming to Memphis. So I all the listeners, hopefully you roll out the red carpets to Kansas, and then of course we know about how Arkansas, they just flood Memphis when they come over here. So great matchup, and these two teams have not played each other until 1906, and that might even before you, Dave.
Just a bit, yeah.
Over 100 years, and they both have really similar kinds of teams. They both have great quarterbacks, and both these quarterbacks are going to play in the game. And KJ Jefferson, had the Hogs, had he been healthy, they might have won the whole thing. Remember, he got hurt in the middle of the season after they were ranked in the top 10, and the same thing happened to Kansas. They were 5-0, had game day up there, and then their quarterback got hurt, and then they kind of struggled towards the end of the season. But both quarterbacks are going to be back. They've committed to play in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, so we're really looking forward to having a really outstanding time here on December 28th.
Talk a little bit about the process of securing this game. The commissioners, particularly on the SEC side, have a lot to do with it. And I bring this up because there is a lot of conjecture, particularly on Twitter, about Missouri not wanting to come either for 2 reasons. One, they don't want to come to Memphis. We already know that because they couldn't come here for the Tiger home game that was owed by Missouri. So the Tigers are going to go to play them in St. Louis next year. Or the other thing is they just didn't want to play Kansas. They haven't played them. It's been a contentious series. Used to be really a big winner. They played every year in Kansas City. So what happened to Missouri?
Well, and it had nothing to do with the Tigers, that game, anything, because it was not at all involved. This had to do with the SEC office. And what was not strange, but what was unusual is Missouri did not even become eligible until that last game of the year when they nipped
Arkansas.
Nipped Arkansas 29-27. So nobody even knew whether they'd be eligible. And of course, we were really working closely with Arkansas all that period of time. So the issue then became that Missouri had beat Arkansas. So did they have first choice? And no, they wanted to come here to play in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. But, I think I'm not sure where the real truth is between the Missouri and the conference office, but Missouri wanted to play here, and they felt that they had the trump card on Arkansas because they beat them head to head. But that wasn't really the situation. The way the criteria was set up by our old friend Commissioner Mike Schleif was that the bowl had a say in it, and I think what happened was the SEC started talking about, they kind of wanted to avoid difficult matchups by teams that had left the conference, and that like Texas and Texas A&M, they have shut down that series, to be. Some of us in the bowl business would have liked to have a Texas A&M matchup. Same thing with Missouri, Kansas. But no, I met in Atlanta at the championship game with both the athletic director from Missouri and the president of Missouri. And, of course, they were here 4 years ago when they played Oklahoma State in a great game there. Drew Lock, remember, got tackled at the 2-yard line, and Oklahoma State won 38-35. But they wanted to be here, and we talked about it. Everybody's singing Kumbaya, and the president himself said, Memphis is important to us. We got a lot of students. We recruit down in that area. Remember Tyler Beatty and Johnson, the wide receiver, were local Memphis kids. So we shook hands and said, well, maybe it'll work out in the next year or two. But, so I'm not sure where the real truth was. Missouri denies they ever said that. And where it got started, I'm not sure. But they did want to come here. It had nothing to do with the issue with the Tigers' home and home situation that they worked on, because Missouri did want to come here to play in the AutoZone. I don't think the way it works, they look too much like regular season matchups, except for these old type rivalries that the league has tried to avoid.
So this is the league decision, really, to steer Arkansas away from Kansas. I mean, Missouri away from Kansas.
Well, we were involved in it too. I mean, our bowl game, we really wanted Arkansas. We'd followed Arkansas all year. We know that Arkansas has so many ties here to the community, and they had 8 people here in town yesterday, today, and I'll break the news here on your show here, Dave. We just got word that both the Arkansas head coach, Sam Pittman, and the Kansas coach, Lance Leipold, are going to both come into town for tomorrow to, talk to the Memphis folks and the Memphis press, which is really unusual because right now with the recruiting rules, most coaches are out on the recruiting trail. And we said, well, we don't want to force you to come in because they all feel if they miss a single day of recruiting during this period. And so I don't know that there's any other bowls that have two head coaches making the trip to pay the respect to the Memphis folks. So hopefully all the listeners out there, we're going to have a luncheon at King's Palace, which is the restaurant part there right by Rum Boogie down on Beale Street. Beale Street's a great sponsor, tomorrow at noon. So, if there's some particular fans that want to come and listen to the two coaches banter with each other and ring the AutoZone Liberty Bowl bell. But so that, I think, shows you that both the universities really wanted to be here. I think it's going to be one of the biggest crowds we've had in many years here, and the Kansas folks are so pumped up about it, and it's such an important thing for our community because there'll probably be, 10 to 15,000 Kansas fans that have never really experienced Memphis, Tennessee. So rolling out the red carpet, have them have a good time here, and hopefully there's some hotel people out there. I got some calls today, but people can't find a hotel. So if you're a hotel manager and you got some rooms, let us know. So I think it's really going to be a terrific matchup, and two outstanding quarterbacks, two coaches that are motivated. So we're really blessed to have this kind of matchup this year in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
I am impressed that both Pittman and Leopold in the heart of recruiting, because 2 weeks from today is the beginning of the early signing period, December the 21st. So I am shocked you got both. I think that is really a cool get for sure. Last thing here, you're talking about a hungry Kansas alumni group. Do you think that Kansas will have more fans here than Arkansas?
I know Coach Pittman, this goes out to all Hog fans. He said, well, it'll be a home game for us because we'll have so many great fans. But right now, I think it's going to be close, because the Kansas folks, and that's one reason we wanted them. We had in the Big 12, to finish your question there, we had a choice in the Big 12 thing, and it came to us between Baylor and Oklahoma State, and and Kansas, and Baylor and Oklahoma State, top programs, big TV draws, and they've been playing in Sugar Bowl and Fiesta Bowl the last few years. But we felt for college football, it's a best thing to give an opportunity to the players and the fans and the bands, and these kids, these seniors at Kansas, never been to a bowl game. And so we felt it was the right thing to do to bring Kansas. So I'm very impressed now. And again, I'm just on my way. There's 8 people from Kansas here in town, doing all the planning and getting together and getting their tickets for the pregame buffet there in the Pipkin and the Creative Arts Building. And then we've got the great President's Gala the night before with Starship playing their great songs from all those years of We Built This City in Rock and Roll, and Starship will be doing the halftime special there that ESPN loves. So, we're really excited, and so I think it might be close to a half and half stadium there. And of course, we've got all our Memphis regulars, and we need the folks here in Memphis. And I want to thank all the volunteers and the people that make everything happen. Like, we're running around town now trying to, show them where they can, get their viewing place down on Beale Street for the parades, and, going out to Dave and Buster's for the team welcome party and the rodeo. And so we've got a lot of activities for the teams and when they get here. So, I think it's going to be close. It will not be like, I think, what was it, that one year when Arkansas was here and they really did dominate. We had a full sellout. They played, East Carolina one year, and, it was certainly 4 or 5-1. I think it's going to be closer to a split stadium.
Thus the real good reason for bringing in Kansas. Thank you, Steve. We appreciate it. We'll see you at the press conference tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. Any of you guys that would like to come, it's noon, and both coaches will be here. So we want to make sure, since they're making the special thing to break their recruiting and fly in here to visit with our media. So spread the word, and doing it down at King's Palace right there next, attached to Rum Boogie there on Beale Street.
That is Steve Earhart, the Big Cheese, the head honcho of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. He's brought to you in part by Old Dominick, big partners of the Tigers, by the way, and big Tigers partners with us. We appreciate their long-time sponsorship, and I'm so excited because their master distiller, Alex Castle, she's a genius, but she wouldn't release these 2 new whiskeys. This is Old Dominick, made right here downtown. You can tour this place. She wouldn't release these whiskeys until they were perfect. Guess what? She just released them. You can now get Old Dominick whiskey, the one bottle in bond, and others a sipping whiskey. Everybody is raving about them. You don't have to go to Kentucky to get the very best. You can get it right here, made in Memphis at Old Dominick. Speaking of made near Memphis, Forest City, Arkansas, Brett Norsworthy. He comes your way in just a minute.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. Depending on how long you've been around, you've likely known my name for 30 years. Perhaps for my 20 years as the morning show on Kix 106 as the Young and Elder Show, or my 15 years at Brian Elder Roofing. So obviously, my reputation means everything to me. One terrible customer experience could tarnish a third of a century of goodwill. My reputation for quality and strong relationships is our main focus. We're the highest certification, a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning. If you have a business or a commercial building, we're the highest certification for warranties with GAF and Mulehide products. We don't come at you in sales mode. If you got a problem, sometimes the solution is just to fix the problem. Call me right now. I'll come out and see you today. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
You're the one who protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Grainger gets you, and we're here for you, and all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call Click Grainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Grapevine Liquor and Wine has the largest selection of bourbon in North Mississippi and wines from all over the world. Let Jimmy the Delta Boy help you select the perfect spirit or wine to impress. Whether you're looking for the best price or a certain flavor profile, Grapevine Liquor and Wines has it. If you want good southern treatment and the hottest prices, Grapevine Liquor and Wine. Getwell Road, South Haven.
Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, where do you get your bourbon? Flim flam, bim bam, Grapevine, by damn.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
'Tis the season, and Dinstall's is the place for all your holiday gifts. Family, friends, employees, clients, even guys. I need to go slip out and get some Cashew Crunch for Brett. He's here. Cashew Crunch, turtlettes, chocolate fudge. You can even get the finest of the assorted chocolates. And by the way, that fudge has won national awards. We're talking Signature of Memphis. That's what Dinstall's is. In a sweet way, you can stop by any of the 5 stores. Laurelwood, Germantown, Collierville, Pleasant View. Even downtown is a cool little store if you haven't been there yet. Dinstall's, they've been making your holidays sweeter for 120 years. Brett Norsworthy, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Dave. How are you?
You and I survived one of the biggest technological challenges of our career, going through
Mount
Deloitte
Everest
to make our Heisman picks. But we did it. We're in. Are you shocked? I guess I am a little bit at all of the controversy on Twitter over Stetson Bennett.
Controversy on Twitter?
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Stetson Bennett.
A place that loves to be enraged over something?
Making the Final Four.
He's not going to win.
Hooker not. I agree with you.
There's no prayer
but
he's going to win.
We can't say who we voted for.
No, we can't. But it wasn't Stetson Bennett. I can say that.
I can say it wasn't. And I didn't vote for him either.
I could eliminate a bunch of people I didn't vote for. And they're bringing him up there basically because they have an hour-long TV show they have to fill, and he's the quarterback of the defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs and the undefeated #1 seed, and it's a meritorious lifetime achievement award of college football for him to be there, and the first Georgia player to be invited as a finalist since Garrison Hurst in 1992.
Well,
but he's not going to win. There's no prayer he wins.
The guy hasn't lost. I know he's had 20 touchdowns in 13 games. Here's my defense of him. They run the ball at Georgia a lot. It's not designed with all that defense. It's not designed to score 1 million points per game.
It's not, and a lot of the outrage who's not invited. Well, they can't have 7 or 8 people. It's an hour TV show.
Right.
That's what they're trying to fill. And they will fill it with those 4 players. I guess he came in 4th. Surely they wouldn't put him through the indignity of coming up there and he comes in 8th.
No. I think they do. They take the top 4 guys.
Yeah, they know who's won.
Exactly. We had a vote by Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
I mean, they know who's won. They'll have the highlight packages ready for that winner, and the Heisman was wide open all year, and it really stayed partially open into last weekend.
Yeah. All right. Switching gears here. We just had Steve Earhart on from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. He was talking about both quarterbacks are going to play. He's doing a good job of selling tickets, and I'm excited about the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. You won't be able to be there because you're going to be in Houston because the Rebels play the same exact day. I know one guy that won't be there, though, and that's the defensive coordinator of Arkansas. Barry Odom got the gig at UNLV. I'm really happy for Barry.
Me too.
Good luck to him, and I think
been a tough spot, though.
You know what's really weird? This is strange to me that I'm saying this. The dude's only going to make $8 million over 4 years. The first year's 1.75. The last year's 2.25. But that seems like an incredible bargain these days.
Yeah, almost less money than a lot of coordinators around the SEC.
I was going to say he might be making the same money that he would have made at Arkansas.
But once the head coach, you're kind of always the head coach. I don't think he was treated fair during and on the way out at Mizzou. He was 500.
Oh, yeah, he got
exact same number of wins as losses at his alma mater. I thought they should have at least stuck with him one more year. And in hindsight, that would have been the COVID year when everybody got their heads knocked off economically. They could have saved a lot of buyout and new staff money, and Eli Drinkwitz hadn't been that special at all at Mizzou. But he's going to Vegas, and that's been tough for everybody. And you think about that job now, the ultimate professional town now. I mean, it has it all except for the NBA, and that's coming sooner rather than later. And, you got the Raiders. Hockey's really made inroads there. Baseball will be coming soon with the A's, it feels like. And at some point, the NBA will get there. And if anything else, Vegas, the ultimate basketball school with Jerry Tart.
Right. But, it hasn't really been the ultimate basketball
since
school.
Jerry Tart.
Since Jerry Tart. So I give him a lot of credit. And also, now there's new interest. The Raiders, the Golden Knights.
Yeah.
Those have taken a little bit of the flavor away. Nobody's really ever done it there. Here's the one thing, and I think for Barry it cost him at Missouri. He's got to do a better job of handling the media. He was a dour kind of a guy. He was not that way in the inner circle here, like when we would have meetings. But he wasn't the most vivacious guy. Mm-hmm. And so I think he should work on that a little bit. It would go a long way, smiling and being a little bit warmer.
If he had done that at Mizzou, he might have had more defenders at the end when it was about a 50-50 vote whether to keep or get rid of than he would have had. But he didn't. But you mentioned Ole Miss in the Texas Bowl, first time to go to the Texas Bowl in Houston. Well, one of 11 SEC teams in bowls, and 7 are favorites, 4 are underdogs. And, Dave, I've said – you're going to see quarterback play in the bowl games from name brand teams that we can't imagine. Starting quarterbacks, like who's going to be the starter for Florida in their bowl game?
I have no idea.
And if he goes down, who's going to be the backup?
Right. I don't know. But I'm guessing Dart's playing, right?
Jackson Dart, definitely going to play. Now, his backup won't. Luke Altmaier's already in the transfer portal, but Jackson Dart's going to play. Will be back next year. And a rich tradition of playing Texas Tech in bowl games. Played them in David Cutcliffe's very first game during that change period during December of that year when he coached Ole Miss over Texas Tech. Played them way back in Shreveport in 1986 in a Independence Bowl, and played them in the Cotton Bowl in Houston Nutt's first year.
Ole Miss is a 4-point favorite in that game, probably because they have their quarterback. I don't know. Is Texas Tech's quarterback going to play?
He is, and Texas Tech, they had a good year, and probably their biggest win of the year came early over Houston.
It'll be a fun game. I love Energy Stadium. Of course, I've never seen a football game in there. But one of the great weekends I mentioned earlier in my sports history took place in 2008 in that arena, in that ballpark.
Dominating performance.
Oh my gosh, Michigan State and Texas.
Ole Miss and Texas Tech played in the kickoff game for these people put on.
That's right.
A early season opening weekend game and played in that game against them there, and Ole Miss handled them easily. And I went to the Super Bowl there. That's where Tom Brady had the comeback in overtime against the Falcons.
Yeah, and that's his second time that he's come from 13 down in the fourth quarter, and that was that Super Bowl. And then
Monday night.
You
could feel it coming Monday night, couldn't you? Saints gift wrap that.
Oh, my gosh. They dropped 2 touchdown passes that would have put the game away much earlier. But how about Brady? The guy looks like he's 45 years old, can't do anything until the last 5:25 of the game.
And you knew he was going to do it.
Then he looks brilliant. Oh, he was amazing. He had 1 touchdown turned back, and never did I think when they had that hold call that he wasn't going to get the other.
Are you ready for your version of the Iron Bowl? Auburn on Saturday, Bama on Tuesday?
I am ready. I think it really will be the litmus test. I think Ole Miss was what I said was the bar setter. I think you had to see, can you beat this team at home, and can you be convincing? And
2-0 in the SEC so far.
I know.
The next two are the tough ones.
I tell you right now, split those two.
Oh, absolutely.
And you are sitting pretty. And probably the best one matchup
win Saturday, you got free shot Tuesday.
That's
at
right.
Coleman.
I think that's the one that's the most winnable. You got, Alabama's higher ranked. Alabama is at home. This one is on the road. The
and
Bruce Pearl teams are, Bruce Pearl, whether you like him or you don't, you have to respect he's won everywhere he's been.
I think he's a lot better floor coach than Nate Oates.
Oh, yeah. I would definitely agree with that. No doubt about it. Last thing here, College Football Playoff Committee, I thought they got it right.
I think perfect. And it was the Saturday night lobbying by Nick Saban, it was going nowhere. I think he almost knew it. It didn't feel like he really had a lot of vigor in his debate. It was simple. Tennessee should have been ahead of Alabama, and I thought it was simple with how everything played out. I think they got it right, and I hope it'll be good games.
I hope so. I think they're going to be really good playoff games. I am worried about even the New Year's Day Six Bowls. Alabama has, 13 players who've opted out? Other Power 5 schools that are good programs have in the teens that are opting out. This playoff expansion is going to be great, I think, because I think players will play in playoff games. But, man, the bowl system as we know it certainly is on the downswing.
Would you have ever believed in Alabama's storied football history and their connection with the Sugar Bowl? That used to be magical. They're almost going sullen to the Sugar Bowl.
I know. Well, it's a weird thing now. And, when you were talking about how half-heartedly Nick Saban was talking about if they didn't, they should get in. He knew they weren't getting in, but he was also appealing to his own guys to play. Mm-hmm. How about, I never thought I would see that, where a coach would go on national TV and basically say, I hope you realize playing can up your brand for the NFL. So play. And 13 of them didn't listen.
I think Bryce Young and Will Anderson are pretty set for the NFL, whether they play in the Sugar Bowl or not.
I agree. Maybe they don't want to get hurt. I don't know. It's tough stuff.
It is.
And college football is changing. We haven't talked about it, but for Memphis, the college playoff expansion, when you didn't get into the Big 12, that breathes new life into your survival.
Got to be prepared for that in 2 years. Got to be in that mix to cash in on that bid.
No doubt about it. As always, happy holidays to you.
Thank you, Dave.
Appreciate it, and we'll see you next week. This portion of our show is brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and, of course, they're telling you right now, call 384-3511. New government regulations means you're going to pay more for air conditioning systems. It's just the way it's going to be. Your system is old. It's inefficient. It is not up to now what will be American guidelines. So here's what you do. Go see my guys at Conway, 384-3511. They've built in these new systems that are, before the prices go up, you can get locked in, and they'll throw in a furnace and a thermostat. This Nest thermostat, you can control your air conditioning and heating from anywhere in the world over your phone. It's really cool. And the furnace, again, it's free if you get an HVAC system from the Mid-South's premier dealer. That would be Conway Services. We are back in a minute. Jarvis Greer, they just named a street after him. Holy cow. He's next.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Kelly Erb with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, and I just had to ask, Sheldon, did you really just buy a set of golf clubs and you never tried them out?
Yep, that's right.
And Sheldon, didn't you tell me whenever you buy a car, you never test drive it?
Again? Yep.
Don't you think that's pretty bizarre since you always tell people to talk to 2 or 3 agents when they sell their home?
Yes, it is. I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and I'm also with Mark Spensdorf Realtors with Kelly. It's funny, we tell people that you should always talk to more than one agent to find out not only what they think about your home, but more importantly, what they will do for you. And you really need to make sure and include us in the interview process.
I agree, because how are you going to find out about our strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option? And as people often say, when you want the job done, call Sheldon.
That's Sheldon Rosengarten and Kelly Erb. Call or email us at memphisrelocate.com or 682-1868. Do it now, 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
Nacho fries are back at Taco Bell. You know, the fries covered in bold Mexican spices you dip in a warm nacho cheese sauce. You could also dunk them in nacho cheese sauce or pour the sauce onto a pile of them and create like a nacho fries nachos. The thing is that you eat them with nacho cheese sauce. That's what makes them nacho fries. Otherwise, you're just eating fries and sipping on nacho cheese sauce, and that's the wrong way. Sorry, just really passionate about nacho fries.
Nacho fries are back, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local store for hours and participation which vary.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswinger Glass.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Homer Skelton Hyundai, well, that is our title and presenting sponsor. They have been for a long, long time. We appreciate them. They appreciate you. They got this new deal right there at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78, Lamar in Memphis, and Craft Road's the first exit there. Turn left, and you can go pick up a brand new Hyundai. You can get Santa Fe like I love, a Tucson, an Elantra, Veloster, any new Hyundai. You can drive off the lot and don't worry about paying for 90 days. That's the new financial deferment package that's going on only at Homer Skelton Hyundai, where you can pick up the best product, a Hyundai, and not have to pay for 90 days. Jarvis Greer, basking in retirement glory, now has a new street named after him. How does that feel, Mr. Greer?
Oh, that was awesome. I was not expecting that whatsoever. I got word that through the station that the city council, Memphis City Council, wanted to, honor me in some way for, my service at Channel 5 for the last 43 years. And oh, cool. Yeah, great. But I had no idea that they were going to do that. None whatsoever. My wife kept it a real good secret. So did my family. And I got there, and I was totally overwhelmed.
Wow. I think that is so cool. So how would I go? What is it called? Jarvis Greer Way or Jarvis Greer Drive?
It's just Jarvis Greer Street. It's on South Parkway between Willette and Kyle, just east of the railroad tracks there at Willette and South Parkway. That's where I grew up.
South Parkway. That's where you grew up?
That's where I grew up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me visualize this. South Parkway.
Mm-hmm. It's about a mile and a half from the station. A couple of miles from the Liberty Bowl.
Okay.
From the fairgrounds, yeah.
And straight down there and right past the railroad tracks.
Yeah, just east of the railroad tracks.
That is absolutely cool. I'm so happy for you. What a neat deal that would have been. So where would you have gone? Would you have gone to Melrose? Would you have gone, if you hadn't gone to Christian Brothers, would you have gone to Melrose?
I would have gone to Hamilton. Hamilton District, yeah.
Okay. All right. Got it down now. Are you excited about the First Responder Bowl and going back to Gerald J. Ford Stadium, which the plus is we have a great press box?
Yeah, that's true. I'm excited to go anywhere. I'm just glad to be going bowling, period. I think it's great, that they got the 9 straight, which is the longest current streak of any non-Power 5 team. And I think it's the 9th longest streak, period, overall for any league, Power 5, Group of 5, whatever. So I'm excited about that. Going back to Gerald J. Ford Stadium, it'd have been kind of cool to see something else, but no, I really don't care. I'm just glad that Memphis is going bowling, and I think the opponent, Utah State, they won 5 straight to end the season. I think they finished second in the Mountain West, and The last time that Memphis played Utah State, I was on the Tiger team, 1977. We beat them in the Liberty Bowl, I think 31-26. I think that was the final. And it was a really good game. And that was back when the Tigers, they called us the Cardiac Cats, because most all our games went down to the wire. And we had Lucky Lloyd Patterson as our quarterback. And Turdell Middleton was the running back, our top runner. Ernest Gray, who went on to play for the New York Football Giants, was wide receiver. We had great players on the team. Bob Rush, who you know very well, was our center. Eric Harris, who was an NFL All-Pro, was one corner. Keith Simpson, who was I think he's in the Ring of Honor at the Seattle Seahawks. Played 10 years there, and I think he's still the all-time leading tackler as a defensive back.
Was Keith Butler on that team, or is that
Keith Butler was the middle linebacker?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Wow, what
he
a
just
team.
Retired as he had a good long career in the NFL and just retired as defensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
What a team that was!
Talent.
Wow, you really did. I know.
Yeah,
that,
I'm famous for who I played with.
Yeah. Well, the 71 team absolutely got apparently robbed by Utah State with this debate over the kicking tee. Yeah. So there's some bad blood between Utah State and Memphis, apparently.
Well, that was a long, long time ago, and it's funny about that story. I think Spook Murphy was coach, who just got inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame
last night.
Shout out to Spook. Yeah, and I think he's the first Tiger in there. So.
Everybody has said that, but I believe they did some research. I think there was another Tiger that had actually gotten.
It could have been Alan.
JMO is looking it up furiously as we speak. We'll get that out there for you in a minute. I do think Spook ended up being the second, but he's really the most famous. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a tremendous accomplishment. I think that kicking tee story was funny because I think where they went out there and played them in Utah, and it was like Spook was really he was really everything is going to be just so perfect, and they have like redundancy. Everything's got a backup, but just for some reason they didn't have a backup tee, and they lost the tee on the field. I think during after an extra point, they didn't go get it, and so
you know what the way I heard it is,
practice.
It was in drills, and then it got wrapped up inadvertently in some sort of tarp.
Right.
And they didn't do it, and they said, "Don't worry, we're not going to redo this tarp, but what we'll do for you is we'll let you use our tee." And
that's right.
And they let them use it except for what would have been the winning field goal. But what we failed to understand, according to the story, is that Memphis had already missed 2 extra points and a field goal prior to that with the team.
Yeah, with that team.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much difference that would have been. But it makes a good story, nonetheless.
It absolutely does. And I think if we examine what's going on with the rest of college football and transfer portal and what's happened with Memphis, and the fact that for the 3rd year in a row, Ryan Silverfield is going to have the best recruiting class in the history of this school. He's already got 20 committed. That doesn't even include JC guys or use of the transfer portal, which I am certain will come into play. I mean, you've got to feel pretty good. Obviously, we've talked all along about how team didn't quit and how they like each other. Well, you can see that because their percentage of guys going into the transfer portal, which is, as far as I know, is Hastings, a defensive back, and Kemp, the kicker, the only 2 that I know, right? Mm-hmm. And everybody else has so many guys, double-digit guys going into the portal.
There were a couple of guys that entered the portal that hadn't played. I think they came in as walk-on, or I think one was a walk-on that earned a scholarship but hadn't played yet, and there was another guy that redshirted and hadn't played yet and decided he was going to go someplace else. But they're keeping all the people that you want to keep, including the tight end. Caden Priestcorn said he's coming back. That's huge for Memphis, and you got to hope that in the transfer portal when these guys that are looking for play, especially like wide receivers, burners, and they see you got a quarterback like Seth Finnegan who can get the ball out there to them. he needs weapons to throw to, and they need a quarterback that can throw the ball.
Well,
So
they got a
hopefully
commitment
that
it's oral. It's not in stone until the 21st of December, but they got a commitment from a wide receiver who's a heck of an athlete. I think is a 4-star guy, 3 or 4-star guy, depending on the service. J-Mo, you got our answer?
The only other person associated with Memphis in the Hall of Fame is Alan McKean.
Yeah,
Alan McKean,
right.
yeah.
Right. So Billy Murphy, Spook Murphy, does become the second guy.
He was the athletic director when I was there, when I was running around playing in the mid to late 70s. He had already given up the coaching slot. And I think after the Pasadena Bowl was his last time to coach the Tigers in 1971. They won that game against San Diego State 28-9. Skeeter Gowan got a couple of touchdowns, I think, in there, and then he let go of the coaching end and became the athletic director at Memphis.
That was the year that they played Utah State. It was in 71.
Yeah, how about that?
And then he went on to really I think he made Memphis an entity in the then modern football world, right?
Oh,
I think that's fair.
He shepherded the transition from whatever it was that Memphis was in, Southern Independence, into the Division I NCAA, and then he got the big win against Ole Miss at the Liberty Bowl when they were coming off national. When they were coming off, I think they won the national championship, or they were coming off an unbeaten season. And I think the biggest thing was they got a tie against the Rebels, and that was Memphis' first time playing an SEC team to get, to do that. And shout out to Johnny Vaught down at Ole Miss and the Rebels for playing Memphis. That helped usher the Tigers into
no doubt.
College football.
Johnny Vaught was a very good friend of Memphis football and of Spook Murphy. And then Mississippi State, I think, actually played Memphis first, didn't they? Weren't they the first SEC team to play? So you got to tip the cap to those guys then. And, heck, I'll tip it to Mississippi State now because at least they'll play.
At least they'll play.
Folks at Ole Miss won't play Memphis in football, at least with this current athletic administration that is in place. Last thing, Grizzlies and Oak City tonight. Really haven't touched on it. How about that win last night or 2 nights ago?
Oh, that was awesome. Even myself, nobody was expecting to get a W out of that.
I sure didn't.
I said that their injury list was as long as a CVS receipt. I mean, they had 7 guys on there. You just keep reading and reading. Oh, Jared Jackson, everybody, John Conchar, they're all out. And then they go out there and put up that performance against the Miami Heat, team that played for the Eastern Conference Championship year and was coming off a win at Boston and had been already in Memphis for a couple of days just waiting for the Grizzlies to get back. They were well rested, and the Grizzlies were playing 3 out of 4. And they come up with that victory. Yeah, just shout out to the culture that they're building, Taylor Jenkins and company with the Grizzlies, and of course, the way they put that team together, man. Everybody has got a chance to play. Everybody plays. They're not afraid to play their rookies. They put them out there early in the season to get game experience, and boy, is it paying off. It is really paying off. And it's fun to go to those games, man. There's big crowds every night now. There's people coming in from out of town, from
great
all
atmosphere.
over the
place. No question. Tonight you might see Zaire Williams for the first time this season, so that is pretty cool in its own right. Thank you, Jarvo. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, we will be here. Thanks, Dave.
All right. That is Jarvis Greer. You can go check out Jarvis Greer Street now on South Parkway by Willette. I got to go check that out one of these days soon. That is for sure. That'll do it for us. Sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. A reminder, the Christmas sale is now on. Go check it out. Because we're talking spas and patio furniture, everything. Priced for Christmas to make it easier for you to have joy with your family. They always do it the right way. At Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road. Tomorrow, Russell Copeland will join us. We'll open up Week 14 of the National Football League. We'll talk with Ron Higgins down in Baton Rouge about the bowl season and everything else. Johnny Radio comes your way in a matter of moments. Have a great day, everybody.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Willotion here for Homer Skelter.